SpeakEasy. It's hard to imagine any Christmas season without the bells. The handbells, from the person who does the Salvation Army all the way through the professional musician. Christmas season, what a joy. And it enhances and enriches every church service I've ever been into. It's like prepares myself to receive the presence of the Lord and entertains the Holy Spirit. And with me today is Pamela Jenkins, who will demonstrate this beautiful instrument called the English handbells. And as our student performer, Haley Stark. Haley's 14 years old. She attends Live Music Center. And Haley, we're just excited that you're here this evening, and you're going to favor us with a song. What's it called?
Almost Love Her by A Fine Frenzy.
Almost Love Her. And so we'll hear from her in just a little bit. Haley, thank you so much. When I first heard Haley sing, the very first note, I knew that this talent was destined for greatness. And so thank you, Haley. Thank you for being here. Pamela, we'll begin with you. How are you this evening? Great, thank you and welcome. And tell us a little bit of the history behind this instrument.
The history of the English handbells began in England with bell changers, tower bell changers. There were anywhere from 4 to 8 ringers, and they were pulling on ropes to make the bells ring in the towers.
The first thing that comes to my mind is Quasimodo pulling on that big bell rope in the Tower of Notre Dame.
Yes.
But you dispel all those images.
So what they wanted to do is to be able to practice rather than always go into a church. And so they invented this English handbell to where they could be outside the church at a table and practice their bells that way.
And you play with a group too. It's not just you as a soloist right now, but you also play with a group of handbells, right?
Yes, I do. The choir that I am a member of is River Bells of Sacramento. We are a nonprofit organization out of the Elk Grove district, and they began in 1998. And we play all over the valley, from Stockton and Lodi up through Grass Valley, down through the Bay Area, North Bay here in Vacaville. And we're getting ready for a fall program and looking forward to a great season.
As you say fall program, I want you to make sure that you include you and your choir in our, we're going to be having a fundraising event for Channel 27, and we really invite you to be part of that, and we look forward to having you.
So do we.
Yeah, that's great. Pamela, can you demonstrate a little bit about the technique on how to use the handbells?
What a handbell is? Why don't I, before we do technique, why don't I explain how the bell is made?
Sure.
And how it makes its sound.
Okay.
These bells are made by a company called Malmark, and to make a bell, they start with copper and tin and mold these bells 2200 degrees in a sand mold, and then they're cracked, and so it's a hollow, or I'm sorry, it's a solid piece of metal now, and they put it on a lathe and they spin it. And they spin starting from the outside with the lathe, cutting the outside of the bell, and then they move to the inside. And as they're doing it, a bell craftsman, who is also a musician, will then tune the bell to an A440.
Wow, it's incredible. I just look at these, and a keyboardist has his keyboard laid out so you know the sharps and flats, but here, is it arranged kind of like a...
It is arranged in the same way, in a keyboard fashion, and that's why they're all white handles and black handles, so then we can easily determine the difference.
You want to show the TV audience the white and black handles?
These are white and black.
And it also has the name of the note so that the audience could see that. Could you turn it to face the camera so they can see the name of the note? I don't know if they can get in on that shot. Dave, here's one, if you want to, so they can see that. This is really beautiful instrument. And you have some different techniques. You were talking about the Christmas tree. Can you do that little Christmas tree?
Yes, it is actually called a bell tree.
A bell tree.
That we can create with a bell, with bells. And it's a matter of just interlocking the handles.
How clever.
Once these are connected.
And you can get like a chord sound out of them too, depending on which notes you use, right? Get like a D major 7 chord. Or...
And we have a mallet made for these particular bells, and then they can be run.
Oh, wow. John, did you bring me a Christmas present?
We'll have to wait till Christmas.
Yeah, I guess so. This is cool. Wow, it's beautiful. You were at the studio. You were demonstrating the hand technique on how to ring the bell. Can you show the audience a little bit about that?
Yes. The ringing of the bell is that there is a simple clapper inside that rocks, and the clapper will only ring one way. And when you ring a bell, you're just making a circle motion to be able to snap that clapper to the sweet part of the bell.
It's got a lot of sustain.
It does. It's beautiful.
It does.
It's
The way
rich.
the bell works is that the fundamental of the note is at the curve or the bell of the bell, and your overtones are then down in what we call the profile. And so then when it is rung, it's brought out the fundamental and the overtone comes to the outside. Now, one technique that I can do is called a controlled diminuendo, and a controlled diminuendo will kill the overtone to leave the fundamental.
Oh, how neat.
To be able to do.
Beautiful. And I
So
notice
we
you
can-
use your body a lot. This is more than
This
just
is a very moving.
ringing a bell.
In the notes, I'm moving up and down the table to be able to play and to be able to maneuver with the arms. I do a lot of weaving action with my hands.
a lot of choreography here.
Some of the other techniques that we have is I do an echo effect
Let's
to be
hear
able
that.
to make the sound.
Oh, how cool. That's great.
There is also what is called a gyro, or a circle that we can do, and I can send the sound.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about bending a string on the guitar and kind of like duplicating that with a bell. How would you do that?
Now, with bending a string on a guitar, I cannot bend a sound
Right.
with handbells. Handbells, we can only change the amplitude of the sound. You can't change the pitch. But one thing that I can do is almost like an echo effect when you're pulling the bell, or like I was doing, I can kill the fundamental or the overtone to be able to get that effect.
Sean, you want to demonstrate on the guitar, and
Okay,
we'll
well,
have
when you-
Pamela demonstrate on
When
the
you
bell.
bend a string on a guitar, you're actually bending from one note to the next note in the scale, usually.
Oh, that's cool.
That kind of stuff.
You're
Okay,
correct.
Pamela, let's hear that on the bell.
All, yes. all I really can do is I can just pull that sound. That's really the technique that I can
that's
do is I
cool.
can pull the sound.
That's nice.
Or as I go from one note to another, like as you were doing, John, would be just to brush.
Yeah.
And you're just brushing. And that's how, that is the most that I could do as far as pulling the technique that John has.
That rotating thing you were doing was very cool. That's the same principle that a rotating speaker on a Hammond organ works on.
Correct, as a gyro. Now there's
Yep.
also even what we call a doorknob, and it actually creates a different effect to where
Cool.
we're moving the sound.
Yep.
That sound is bouncing off here and going straight out.
Well, you've got me fired up to want to play a song. So let's play something with the bells that the audience will recognize. Something like My Funny Valentine. And here's Pamela Jenkins on the handbells. Beautiful.
Problem.
Haley, you when you're playing with the choir, do you have like, do you have chords that you're playing and others are playing notes, or how does that work?
In a choir, we have 14 members in our choir, and usually we have 4 or 5 bells assigned to each person. And so you're just responsible for the few notes that are on in front of you to be able to coordinate. And that may be in octaves, or it may just be in the battery, as we call it, in the 5th or 4th octave. Mm-hmm. But you're just responsible for your own bells. And so you have to be able to work with the other choir members to be able to create the music.
Yeah.
It's like having 4 or 5 people playing one instrument.
Yes, yes, we have 14 playing one large piano.
That's good.
Wow.
Well, as promised, we have our featured student performer here, Haley Stark, and she's going to favor us with a song. It's called Almost Lover. Thank you, Haley. Thank you so much. This is great.
Your fingertips across my skin, the palm trees swaying in the wind, images. You sang me Spanish lullabies, the sweetest sadness in your eyes, clever trick. And I never want to see you unhappy. I thought you'd want the same for me. Goodbye, my almost lover. Goodbye, my hopeless dream. I'm trying not to think about you. Can't you just let me be? So long, my luckless romance. My back is turned on you. Should've known you'd bring me heartache. Almost lovers always do. We walked along the crowded streets. You took my hand and danced with me. Images. And when you left, you kissed my lips. You told me you would never, never forget these images. No, I never want to see you unhappy. I thought you'd want the same for me. Goodbye, my almost lover. Goodbye, my hopeless dream. I'm trying not to think about you. Can't you just let me be? So long, my luckless romance. My back is turned on you. Should've known you'd bring me heartache. Almost lovers always do. I cannot go to the ocean. I cannot drive the streets at night. I cannot wake up in the morning without you on my mind. And so you're gone and I'm haunted. I bet you were just fine. Did I make it that easy to walk right in and out of my life? Goodbye, my almost lover. Goodbye, my hopeless dream. I'm trying not to think about you. Can't you just let me be? So long, my luckless romance. My back is turned on you. Should've known you'd bring me heartache. Almost lovers always do.
So we're looking for this young lady. She's destined for greatness. And Haley, please let us know where you're performing. We'd all like to go. And gosh, I just wish you the best. It's just great. Thank you for being here this evening. Pamela Jenkins, so you have all these things here. Can you tell us a little bit about these mallets and stuff you have up here?
Let's talk about accessories. Yes, there are mallets. Mallets are made for each set of different octaves of bells, and so the larger ones, of course, are made for all the way from the second octave up to the 4th octave. Then we have medium mallets that go up into 4th and 5th, 6th and 7th, and all the way up to the 8th octave. And as I was using with the bell tree, they even make a particular mallet for bell tree ringing.
And how do you use the little mallet with? Do you use it like with this little bell here, or
Yes,
how does that work?
These are specifically made. They're marked, but it's saying that this is for the 6th octave and up.
Oh, wow.
To where you could be able to ring.
Can you demonstrate some of that?
Sure. When you be able to ring, you would just want to, your technique is to ring at the curve of the bell and to be able to bring out the resonance that we're doing.
It's beautiful.
Another technique that I would do is what we call 4 in hand. And so I'm ringing 2 bells in one hand. So I'd have 4 bells at any given time. As I said, the clapper only rings one way. So to be able to ring 2 notes in a hand, I would just be able to pick up the 2 bells. If I'm ringing this bell forward, this bell does not ring because the clapper will only turn. So here I can ring this bell, and then I can ring this bell.
Wow, beautiful.
To be able to, just turning of the wrist. Wow. To be able to ring them together, which is called a Shelley ring, I would be able to just turn the handles. Now both clappers are facing the same way, and I can ring my chord.
How beautiful.
To be able to create the sound of a chord.
That's beautiful. This, what is this right here, this white with the C5 and
Another
G6?
type of instrument that accents with the handbells is what's called a hand chime or a tone chime. And these are just fire enameled aluminum with
That's an instrument?
with a painting. And this is an instrument.
I thought it was a vice of some sort. It looked like a vice.
It is called a hand chime, tone bar, what you want to call, but this one is with the clapper is on the outside. And so you're able to ring it by going forward.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. Come in.
Yeah.
And this will exactly ring as long as it's and these you have to turn to be able to the sound. One nice technique that you can do is you can, again, we're sending the sound and stretching the chord, is to be able to.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So obviously the sound comes right through the tuning fork and creates that sound and
Electric
vibration.
guitar has nothing on you, girl. You can do a lot of stuff with it. What's the little one?
It's probably a lot easier to play.
The smaller one is just in the 6th octave. Again, they can make all 8 octaves of the hand chimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is just a higher bell.
Oh, okay. That is cool. I love that little sound. I had a friend of mine that always wanted to have a doorbell tuned to a D major 7. And he thought that would be just the neatest sound, you know. With bells, I can see that happening. It's gorgeous.
I wanted to share one of the smallest bells and highest bells that we have is a G8.
Well, that's something my dog would wear, wouldn't it?
And it is. And when it gets to this level, the clapper is no longer a rubber. It has turned to a brass.
Oh, let's see.
And so this was very high.
Wow.
And again, the sound deadens quite a bit quicker because of the high pitch.
Can you show that to the camera? They can see that's a brass. What did you call that? A brass?
Clapper.
Clapper. It's gorgeous. And now you have all the names of the notes. I don't know if the camera can pick all this up. You were talking about when you're striking the bell. I hate to even touch these things, but she was talking about in this area right here is where you hit the mallet. So that's where the bell actually starts. Is that?
Correct. This is where your overtone is, and once that curvature starts, then your fundamental of the actual note that you're playing is going to ring out. And that's, in fact, where the clapper will hit, is at that perfect fundamental sound.
And I've seen you're so animated when you play this. You know, how do you know, like, for every song, do you have to set it up a certain way so that you know where each bell is? Because it's not just, you can't play this by ear.
I try not to. Solo handbell ringing, you want to try and leave your table at keyboard form as often as you can, and you learn to reach and do your techniques. Otherwise, there are times to where I do play songs that you can't can't do that, to where you've got to move a bell in order to keep your tempo or to keep resonance in the song. So you would move a particular bell out of key order just for reach perspective, to be able to keep your song at tempo, to be able to make the music just sound more graceful, more thorough.
Right. What about the low bells you have over there? Can we hear some of those?
Sure. This is a G4 down in the 4th octave.
Wow.
And this actually has a sound.
Now you're getting a 5th harmonic there on that.
Yes.
That's really nice.
One thing about the Melmark is that on the clapper, especially down in the lower bells, all the bells can turn, but there are different resonances to where I rang a medium sound of the bell, but you can just simply turn the clapper to get a different sound, and now it'll be much softer. So even though I can ring the bell with the same strength and agility, just turning the clapper creates that different sound. And of course, then there is a hard sound of the rubber. To get a nice brassy sound. One of the techniques that we always have to learn when we are ringing bells is that when we go to damp on our shoulders, is to make sure that if we need to kill the entire note, we got to make it happen. Otherwise, you're going to get that overtone. Even though I've killed my fundamental, that overtone is going to ring out. So a technique that we have to learn is to be able to kill that entire note, so then you don't have the carryover.
Is it a different part of the bell that produces the harmonic?
Yes, down in the profile, this is where you're going to get it.
Okay.
Because a fundamental will be at the top of your bell.
It's the same thing on a guitar. You've got your fundamental G. You're cutting the string in half with your octave G, and the one that you were getting was that octave in a 5th. So amazing that you can get both of them at the same time. I can't.
At the same time.
The only way I can get them both at the same time is to finger the notes somewhere else.
Well, Pamela, we're almost out of time. I'm just looking forward to having your group perform at our telethon. I think you'll all will have an amazing time, and I know the viewers will be just enamored by what y'all do. And I would just like to say something to the Spanish-speaking audience, and that is, si ustedes quieren participar, artistas mexicanas sobre tríos o mariachis, para tener aquí con nosotros en este programa, por favor llámanos a Live Music Center a 448-1511. 448-1511. Gracias. And Pamela, do you want to go out with a song like Michelle? You want to do that song?
How High the Moon?
How High the Moon is a great
How High
tune.
the
Let's
Moon?
do that one.
Bye.